what's going on, guys? You're watching Everyday Struggle. I'm Nadeska here with Wayno and Akademiks. Good morning, my friends.
Cracking. It's only a week till March. Yo, the year's going by pretty fast.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
No,
You
the
looked at
year
the
is
calendar
going.
this weekend?
Yeah, the year is going by pretty fast. I felt like January, I can't remember much memorable. The only memorable things I remember for the last 2 months are deaths, unfortunately. Like, I feel like this year's kind of going really quickly, but we're in having those moments where it's like positive, where we like bask in that moment. You get me?
We shall. I think that it's gonna brighten up, you know.
I feel like it's kind of mirroring last year almost, but this was the year that we all agreed that based on like so much stuff, at least musically, that's coming out, this is the year to pop it off, right? All the heavyweights are dropping. But it's kind of looking like last year. A little thin so far.
Let's see. I'm sure there's a lot more music coming.
Hopefully.
Hey, we had a cool interview last week.
Yeah.
Birdman was on the show. I know some of you guys really hate when we have guests, but it seems like some of you also enjoyed this one. So we do have some fan questions about the Birdman interview. Let us get started. The first one. Hey, Everyday Struggle. Loved your interview with Birdman. Lots of gems. Wanted to know, what are all three of y'all's favorite moment from the interview, because there are a lot of highlights. Much love from Nola.
I would probably say him talking about how he sees artists, and I do believe a lot of his success, or a lot of the artist's success that's came under his regime, is because he kind of allows them to do whatever they want, whether for better or for worse. You know, it's like, you know, when he was basically saying, yeah, you sign with me, like, you do whatever you want, like, I'm not gonna tell you no.
Right.
Like, you wanna, whatever your budget is, whatever amount you want, go ahead, do it, because it's for the art. And even though we do look at him as one of the moguls, I do think like he cares enough about the art to know that, you know, hey, some shit might not be the money play, but it might be the play to make the art actually dope. Yeah. So I was actually, you know, the whole interview I was really impressed by, but that part in particular, Birdman just kind of seemed like misunderstood a little bit to me, if you ask me.
I feel like my
don't laugh.
It's funny to hear, because it's funny to just hear you say that, to just chalk it up as misunderstanding, you specifically. No.
All right, well, I'm glad you said that, because when I say misunderstood is that we've heard narratives about Birdman that either people have echoed or they've heard through third-party sources. You know, like he made even mention in the interview, he said, y'all don't really like address a lot of that shit, I don't got to. And when he does finally speak, you actually, you know, again, he's not defending himself, but like you hear another side to it. It's always important when you at least try to contribute to the narrative, if you care about it, which, again, there's been a narrative about Birdman.
Okay, what about you, Wayno?
Yeah, well, my favorite, of course, it was like all the questions I got to ask.
When he asked that question about BG, that's it.
Well, the BG one, but asking about like Ziggy and like them making all of those records. It's like, for me, being able to talk to a person like Birdman, I never thought that would happen, but just also getting him to clear the air about a lot of shit. You know what I mean? Like just the clarification on how he feels about the Raw shit. You know, him and his relationship with Wayne, like just hearing it from him and not speculation, like that was really good. I mean, I also like the gems he was dropping in the space of like him telling you about starting a record label, him just saying that he has like foresight about being in the game. Like that's what really got, and also him shedding light about he didn't really know a lot of shit that he was doing. And I said that before, I felt like a lot of the business practices that was uttered about, or like the narratives driven based on him not paying people, whatever the case may be, was just them making so much money early on and having to catch up to themselves because they did something so great so fast. You know, so it was good to hear him talk about all that shit.
Yeah, it's good that he was really open. I appreciated that. And we do have one more question. Wayno just mentioned it. Ak, are you really going to take the advice of Birdman and start your own label? I think it's time.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you know, it's a catch-22 with that. Because I'm a super polarizing figure in hip-hop. I haven't seen anyone who says, that Akademiks nigga, he aight. It's either, yo, he's that dude, or I really hate him. And when you think about, you know, record labels and, you know, even record executives, you usually think of a lot of them, with the exception of like Diddy, you know, and of course some other who were rappers before, as kind of background figures, but more of, you don't even think about them to say, I don't like this motherfucker, so like maybe they have an artist, I might not fuck with the artist too. So again, you know, I do think, you know, he was definitely spot on in terms of, you know, discovery with like my platform. That is something that, you know, I'm trying to make steps on, but trying to figure out how to not have everybody who hates or love me just automatically go to an artist, because again, you want to give them a blank palette to work with. But I thought he gave great advice for that too.
Absolutely.
Also, like what he was talking about, he mentioned 50 gave 50 some credit. Like I think he's moving a lot more into this content space, and I like it. And another thing too is his passion. Like I really was surprised, like when we came on set, he was getting mic'd up, and Dre was playing something, and I was like, damn, that nigga killed that verse. And he was like, yo, that's a new Lil Baby, ain't it? And yo, he's super in tune. Like the passion hasn't dwindled a bit. And you would think after you've been in the music industry that long, you get a little jaded, or you kind of like, yo, I've seen all this shit before. And the passion is definitely still there.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, I realized I didn't answer my favorite part. I liked hearing him talk about how much he's taught people like Young Thug, like passing it forward so he could be a young CEO. And he's putting all these artists on that you're talking about right now. I think that's super dope. Because Thug is, of course, very talented, but it's nice someone's helping the businessman in him flourish as well.
Right.
Go check out the Birdman interview if you have not seen it yet. Now, you guys know that last week we were all reeling from the sudden loss of Pop Smoke. And yesterday in Brooklyn, on Sunday, a private memorial service was held for him in his hometown. Only his close friends and family attended. So the Los Angeles County Coroner's Office has confirmed that he died of a gunshot wound to the torso. They said his death is a homicide, but police have not named any suspects yet or made any arrests. TMZ is reporting that his family is getting involved in the murder investigation. They reportedly started to question friends and witnesses who were there in the house at the time. Of course, fans still having a hard time dealing with this. According to Billboard, his streams have jumped 392% since he died. And last week, Jadakiss actually dropped a single with Pusha T called Hunting Season. It was eventually pulled from streaming services. Pusha addressed this, saying, the whole concept of hunting season and the hypothetical idea of killing rappers isn't sitting well with me while mourning the death of Pop Smoke.
Yeah, that, man, you know what I don't want to see happen is like what happens too often is like these deaths occur and then nothing ever comes from it. Like we never get any questions answered. I mean, even all the way back to like Tupac and Biggie. Yeah, there's a ton of documentaries, there's a ton of movies and shows done about it, but there's never like this is what happened and this is the reason why. It's always like this opinion versus that opinion about what happened that night. I could only imagine how Pop's family is feeling, but even with the Pusha T thing, a lot of people don't know that he was signed to Victor Records, which is Steven Victor, his Pusha T's manager's label, and they did have a relationship there. You know what I mean? I recently saw Pop say something about Pusha, that's his OG or his mentor, so I can understand why he would want the record taken down at this moment. It's actually a really good record, but time and sensitivity really holds a place,
I don't think we're still in that era. Like as you mentioned, like Pac and Big's murder, where like we still have as many unanswered questions, or we have a million theories, but we don't have that definitive. I don't feel like we're still in that space anymore. I feel like we're gonna get the answer to this. And I mean, the last couple murders, even I never thought that we were gonna really get at least, maybe we don't know the motive yet, but there was 2 significant arrests for Chink's drugs, XXX Tentacion. They arrested a bunch of suspects for that. Yeah. I do feel like in this era, it's much harder to do shit like that and get away with it. Like, and I do believe whoever who did this will be brought to justice at some point. Understanding why and the series of events that happened that led up to it would probably be the thing that is most challenging for us. But I think we'll get to that. As far as the song, I'm gonna actually disagree with Wayne. I thought he should have left it up. Yeah. Maybe not. It may have not been if it was already scheduled to be out that time. Maybe not the timing to like super promote it. Yeah. But like, you can't. I don't believe in taking that down if your content's gonna still be that.
Yeah, I get it.
You feel me?
That.
So it's like it's like almost when Nip died, a lot of people were like, "Yo, we should chill out with how we deal with stuff, and we should be anti-violence." You know what I mean? And that was like the immediate mourning after effect. But everybody kind of goes back to what they normally do. Again, maybe delay the releases, something like that. And of course, I understand the Pusha T. You're 100% right with that. Yeah. But I don't believe that not putting out the record almost tells me that you kind of are denouncing songs like that, which honestly, like from How to Rob to other records that are mentioning rappers in a violent light, and of course we're taking it as you're playing off of, you know, really a old and kind of historical and traditional like form of like discussing your peers. Yeah, I don't think you should just not put it out. But again, I can't disrespect why he might have had a personal relationship where it didn't sit right with his spirit. I just feel like I thought it was cool either way.
Yeah, I mean, I think you know, for the most part, it's like it can seem you also don't want it to be overshadowed, because you know this is also them putting shit out. You know what I mean? You want people to pay attention to a certain way. It's not going to be paid attention to the same way it will if it's an isolated release, not centered around everything that's going on. I mean, it was still scheduled, but you do want to, maybe we should chill for today, you know?
Okay, as long as it comes out. Like,
yeah, I think it's going to come out, but just not at that moment. Okay,
but not putting it out kind of tells me that, like, your content is not going to be
I don't think it's going to change.
Realm. You get me?
I feel you.
So, which I don't think so. So, we'll see.
Okay. Now, for the last few months, it seems like Eminem's been taking a lot of heat from people like Lord Jamar about his place in hip-hop this far into his career, which is very interesting. So on a recent episode of Crook's Corner, he agreed that he's a guest in hip-hop and said he never claimed to be the king.
With the whole beef of a certain person.
Right.
I never said I wasn't a guest.
Right.
Like, I'm absolutely a guest. Like, I never said I wasn't.
Right.
And I never said I was king of anything, right? Like, I had a song called Kings Never Die, but it wasn't me saying, that was one of the beats that Khalil sent me with the hook on it. That was the concept of the song, and I'm like, I can't say I'm the king of hip-hop.
Right.
I could just say, so I threw Run DMC in there, Jam Master Jay, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And was trying to, like, because I never want to be, like, I don't want to be the king of hip-hop. Who the fuck is the king of hip-hop?
Yeah.
Like, is there a king of hip-hop? Like, I don't...
Yeah.
Like,
nah, I feel you on that.
People would say, just because you sell the most records doesn't mean you're the best. Just because you can rap 40 million syllables doesn't mean you're the best. Like, I care more about rhyming the syllables.
All right. First of all, do you guys feel like at this stage in his career he should be having to defend himself? Do you feel like this is something, I don't know, he should be accused of? Has he ever acted like he wasn't a guest?
Nah, I mean, but this is just social media. Like that, it's that mixed with the only people's opinions I really care about, and I said it off. Now the only two people's opinion I care about with this interview is I want to see what Benzino has to say about this, and I want to see what Lord Jamar has to say about this, because they're the most vocal ones regarding Eminem in that space. I mean, come to think about it, yeah, I've never heard M say he was the king of anything, or even say he was the best at anything. But I don't know. It just didn't. This interview came out of nowhere. I didn't know that Crooked was gonna start getting into content, which is always dope. I feel like the people, a lot of the people that should start up the conversation are the artists, just to show different facets in their career. But like, Eminem says he's a guest. Okay, cool. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's why the only people's opinion that matter to me in this is those two people, because they were so adamant about it over the past. Shit, Benzino since like 05, it seems like. You know, Lord Jamar, the past 10. So I would love to see what they have to say now that he's admitted to. So what's the next?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, do you think it's like those two people specifically he's responding to, or like Wayno said, then it spiraled into the internet ganging up on him? But we know M has a very strong, very supportive fan base, so I'm surprised he would even be really feeling that pressure from the internet.
I don't like this clip.
Okay.
I don't like it at all.
Wow.
I just don't even like, I feel like he copped a plea. Fuck that. And again, while maybe you're not like, clearly Lord Jamar has been saying this for a while, with all respect to him, and also he's been saying on the platform of Vlad TV, salute to Vlad. Right. But if I'm M, like, and by the way, I do think M responds to these things, just like he dropped Kamikaze, just like he dropped a diss track to MGK, just like he's done a bunch of stuff, and I felt he's going out of his way, that just like he's mentioned my name on a record. He's done these things to show the narrative is that like I'm locked away and I'm so detached from what's going on in hip hop, but I see everything. I see everything. I'm still actively involved. I see y'all interviews. I'm gonna answer those things. I see your criticism on Everyday Struggle. I'll rap about it. I see what the Twitter is saying. I'm gonna drop a surprise album. I think he's shown that. He's very much in tune. Why I don't like this shit is because I felt like
He owes no explanation?
No, for someone like M, I don't ever want to see him explaining something from a position where he feels in a corner, where he just, no, I never said, nah, it just looked weird, it looked soft. I kid you not, if I was him, I'd be like, listen, and honestly, okay, the guest thing, fine. We understand hip hop, black culture, understandable. Mm-hmm. But when we think about, honestly, some of the greatest hip hop artists of all time, I know these days, you know, it's kind of taboo to really give Eminem his flowers, but man, am I telling these things to fuck off, man. He doesn't get that respect. And that's why it's looked weird to me. It's Eminem. It's Eminem's.
He doesn't get what respect?
He doesn't get the respect of, like, honestly, like, again, he's not a pioneer, but like, if we're talking even about kings, people who have dominated, progressed, whatever portion of the art or culture, I'm gonna say more the art, in terms of like, shit, it could even just be fucking lyricism, point blank.
He's one of the greatest lyricists ever.
All right, but that's what I'm saying. Again, the way he had to skirt away and get away from that, I'm like, yo, damn, bro, you look soft with it, bro. If I'm you, nah, nigga, I don't care.
But that's a catch-22.
I wouldn't say nigga if I'm him.
Right, but that's a catch-22 because I feel like if he does that act, the people they're not. He's damned if he do. He's damned if he don't.
Like,
so why cop the plea then?
It's a very fine line. That's
so why cop the plea then?
Because
I ain't copping the plea then.
Listen, it's
Lord
because
Jamar ain't gonna do nothing but shit on him more.
Right.
That's a fact.
But it's due to him being it's due to him being a white rapper, and the place that social media holds when it comes to talking about white rappers and hip hop. That's the only reason why he cops a plea. I think that he feels it. I say, if I'm Eminem, I say fuck it too. I'd be like, man, I don't give a fuck.
Really compare me to these niggas.
I would just
compare me to them.
That's what I would say. I would say, well, are y'all better rappers than me? Mm-hmm. Have y'all, we don't got to get in the sales, but just start at, are you a better rapper than me?
The only thing I'll give is like, yo, yeah, I haven't gone through some of the oppression that y'all have gone through that really birthed this culture and in a lot of ways progressed it. But my contribution to it, whether it was paving a way forward or actually bringing the 50s of the world and giving them a platform.
Absolutely.
Motherfucker, y'all ain't gonna make me, it felt like Macklemore, except Macklemore was undeserving. When Macklemore won a Grammy,
and Macklemore got it.
Nigga tweet out immediately, Kendrick, come get your award, bro. It was like, yo, come on, dog. Yeah. Okay, but still, at least in that situation, you're like, this is a undeserving motherfucker.
But I think that
who is saying that M is not deserving, except for maybe Lord Jamar, and I do think he has an angle that angle is understandable, but sometimes it's almost like, bro, are we still discussing that in 2020?
Yeah, it's true, but you have to understand, I think what he's saying, where the fear comes from. You know what I mean?
Nah, I want to see M looking like that.
Yeah,
no, we don't want to see it, but then he feels like, you always tell me that it's important to control the narrative, right? Once someone else makes a narrative and runs with it and the internet starts believing it, you tell me it can be dangerous, but you can understand how him stepping in and having the attitude that you said, some people would react funny and run with it even further.
Real quick, if he would have fucking jumped out and been super arrogant about his place and be like, man, I don't give a fuck what nobody say. I'm Eminem. I can rap better than all y'all. Mm-hmm.
I'd respect it.
I'm in most people.
I'd respect it.
You nigga.
I'd respect that shit. That's not like my rappers to come in 2020.
But guess what? But the internet is very unforgiving, and then it's gonna spiral out of control. Which I feel like Eminem has a reason to brag as far as being a rapper, because he's a great fucking rapper. I would never take that from him. But you gotta understand, to put yourself in his shoes. You gotta understand the position he would be in if he said some shit like that.
But hear what I'm saying, Wayno. Mm-hmm. With all due respect, and again, this is really coming from the narrative and kind of the talking points that we've seen very frequently from Lord Jamar, right? Lord Jamar definitely has a voice. You know, him and Vlad TV, they put out these interviews, and actually a lot of people do care about it, but I do want to say that whole thing of, M is a guest, it operates within a certain space. And it's a little bit, to be honest, and hopefully no one takes this disrespectfully, the dog barking at the moon. And when M speaks on it and basically fucking backpedals and moonwalks faster than Michael Jackson, now the conversation, that's not the conversation I was seeing daily about M. More of it was like, yo, M's music, like for better or for worse, people thought maybe it was dated. That wasn't a conversation that was prevalent. Right. Of course, that was a part of a conversation that, of course, Lord Jamar has been pushing forward, but I don't think that it required him getting up on, listen, he doesn't do interviews. You do a podcast, and of course, I can imagine like, his man's got a situation. Okay, let's do it. But it's looked a little weak.
No, I understand. I think we all agree, though, that he shouldn't have done it. I would rather him say nothing at all. Yeah. You're just saying that he should be a bit more arrogant about it. I think we're just saying that could then be spun into something else.
I'm gonna tell you, like, a little bit of hip hop is like we kind of respect the arrogance a little bit.
Yeah, but
no, not with him saying I'm not a guest, but when it came to the Kings conversation, I expected him to say I'm a motherfucking king. I'm sorry.
I hear you, man. That sounds good.
No?
I'm not saying that I would listen. I'm not saying that wouldn't make for a great soundbite and a viral moment. But
all right, okay, not like that way. No, like I'm saying it my way.
You know, dog. You know what would have happened if he'd have said that shit. Because think about this. The only thing we're talking about in this interview is that, like, just that.
I think the opposite. And I got an example, and maybe whatever. Anyway, I remember when, the word nigga, right? Angie Martinez at 6ix9ine was like, Angie Martinez was like Breakfast Club. They say, yo, some people got a problem with you saying the word. And if he didn't almost just shut that question down, it would have been a bigger thing than it actually was. He basically said, yo, I'm gonna say, what's up? Who got a problem?
Yeah, but come on, you're using...
No, what I'm saying is that, like, listen, if you open that window of doubt, like, people will continue the conversation even more. You can never please people. That's what I'm saying. We started this shit off by saying it's a catch-22. It's a no-win situation. Why get, like...
So you might as well just win the best way you can.
Either do what she says, don't say nothing, or if you're gonna say something, of course, not be disrespectful. Like, the guest in hip-hop thing, I agree. The Kings, one of the kings of hip-hop, unless maybe Kings is meaning some other shit that I'm not thinking about.
He goes on a lot of people's Mount Rushmores. Like, I think that's a king. To a lot of people's Mount Rushmore.
That's a king. That's not a king?
It is. I'm just saying, to me, he's like Jay at this point in his career. He doesn't have to defend anything.
Yeah, but I mean, he's only done, I mean, for M, we've only seen him rap. We've never seen him do anything else other than rap. I mean, we've seen him act in one movie. You know what I mean?
Man, come up here, man. We'll coach you out to get through these questions. I would have had this nigga bragging and boasting, man. Fuck that.
Look, like your man said, a wise man once said, nothing at all.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so elsewhere in the interview, because he did talk about other things, not just this, he also gave love to some other artists. He says he really thinks YBN Cordae is the next big thing. He gave love to J. Cole, Kendrick, and The Baby. And he's on Royce the 5'9's You album that's called The Allegory. So he's also on a skit called The Perspective, where he goes on to talk about how much he thinks hip-hop has really created a community. He said, you've got people of all races coming together, helping to shape this. You've got little white kids growing up with black idols, black kids growing up with white idols. Nothing has brought more people together than hip-hop.
Correct. I mean...
Just something cute to end it. I don't know.
He just be rabbit himself. You know what I mean? He's doing the same 8 Mile shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, leaving no room for interpretation. I said it. What else could you say about me? Because that's the reason why I said I want to know what they think, because what else is there to be said now? Because I think that there'll still be something else.
But as I said, in terms of him giving even props, I think one of the reasons he does these interviews is to derail the narrative that he's out of touch. And he mentions, Cordae, like, that's one of my favorites. He mentioned a couple new young rappers who, and by the way, he's not wrong in like kind of like forecasting their career, but yeah, I look at it as, okay, cool. He's paying attention.
You should spend some time with Lil Wayne. He does not care.
Let me tell you. Listen, to my point about that, like, motherfucker been tweeting. We ain't never seen him tweet. He tweeted in the cannon, okay? He's responding to mad shit mad quick, which, like, the narrative was that he don't really see shit. And he definitely has seen everything.
If I hear narrative one more fucking time.
Okay,
I'm telling you.
There's no narrative in this next topic. Let's get this
I'm about to say
music. It's for Hit, Brick, or Wait on It. We're going to start with Kyle. He's back, Super Duper Kyle. A new song featuring Rich the Kid and K-Camp called Yes. What do you guys think?
I'm going to say Wait on It, because these little pop songs. But this song, this is a nice fan. Nice. This song reminds me of Wayno on a summer day, bro. I don't know.
Where the fuck you get that
Oh,
from?
I know. This is with the gray sweatpants with the florals on it. You're right. You're right.
There you go.
So
listen, it's kind of crazy, but like I think Kyle does so much, or like when I mean does so much, like I've seen him in other areas. You know, we saw him act in a movie. Like I don't even like anticipate music from him a lot. But this came out and it kind of reminded me of like that space he does operate in music, which is like, it's like feel good music. And adding Rich the Kid and K Camp, like how opposite of fucking like two people you could get. Like Rich the Kid is basically the nigga who's fucking just rapping about whatever in terms of like getting fly. And then K Camp, we haven't heard him in a while. But I think the record is decent. It's Kyle. So I'm gonna say wait on it.
Okay.
Because this shit might catch steam on TikTok and I don't look like a fool. Okay?
I'll say wait on it as well. I think that Kyle, I think that Kyle is the king of spring break music. I look for Kyle to be the type of artist like a
That's
Flo.
a good one.
Yeah, I think he's the type of artist that could become
This
like.
do sound like spring break.
Can I finish? I think that he's the type of dude that could be like a Flow Rider type artist. You know what I mean? That you don't hear much from him, but then when he does drop a record, it's like, yeah, it's a hit, and it's also something that could be big on television or something on, like, New Year's. I think that he could make that type of music, so I say wait on it for Kyle.
Okay. Speaking of TikTok, fan question time. What are your thoughts on TikTok as a new tool for rappers to use as promo for their music? I see K-Camp is currently benefiting from the app with Lottery becoming a big song online. Do you guys think this is going to be or is already better for promo than Instagram?
Yeah, I mean, I look at TikTok as like, my era had the rap cities and the, MTV raps and eventually TRLs and 106 and Parks. This is that for kids today. I mean, it's no host and nothing, it's on demand, but I see them engage with this as much as we did with 106 and Park when I was a teenager. Like, I think that it's a good tool. I think that, it's a very unique thing because I feel like there's gonna be something else. Because what is it Triller? Triller was Musically, or was TikTok Musically? One of them was Musically and then turned Triller was Musically, right? I feel like it's gonna evolve into something else, but I don't know how much time you can cut down. It's like, it seems like people find unique ways to cut doing content with songs into short amounts of seconds that help to blow up the record. So.
Right.
The kids love it. The kids are the ones who make this shit what it is, not me.
TikTok is what Instagram was in its heyday. So if I go back to maybe 2013, 2014, when Instagram was like really like shit. You see an artist with the most popping artist who's gaining the most traction on Instagram is the one who's like winning the most. TikTok is it. The only thing is, I think the reason why I love TikTok is that it's unpredictable. Like these days, when it comes to Instagram, record labels have solved the formula on how to control it. I know this specifically when record labels figured it out, because people were looking at Instagram so much for music, they were looking at like, hey, we just got to juice this guy's followers and people think it's hot. Right? So they figured out that formula to how to get people to get some shit popping. On TikTok, it's straight up like just challenges that just kind of blow up because of like just some extremely viral shit. And while it's having a sweet spot, which is now, you're seeing like shit. There's some Love and Hip Hop chick whose song blew up on TikTok. I forgot what her name is. She would DJ something, I forgot. You have K-Cam. It's like completely, it's not a dream though, it's like completely random, right? It could be old songs, new songs. It's just about what happens to pop to the new demographic. And I think it's kind of, I like that more than Instagram right now. It's Wild Wild West.
Do we have a sponsorship from them? God damn.
From TikTok?
Right.
No, it's just Monday.
That's
It's
just
Monday.
weird.
That's his favorite day because
Right.
he hasn't spoken to us in 2 days, right? 3 days?
Ooh.
Huh?
They just asked a question about TikTok. I answered the question about TikTok. This nigga asked if we have a sponsorship. Should I not talk about TikTok?
I'm just asking. No,
I fuck TikTok.
You know Ak loves his deep dives.
Right.
I'm verified on TikTok. Follow me.
Okay, I should follow you. I gotta make an account. Of course I don't have one. All right.
They call people like you a boomer.
I just really don't care. No, we got a couple more songs. Next one is from Trippie Redd featuring Russ. It's called The Way. This is going to be on, well, actually, it is on the deluxe version of A Love Letter to You 4. Trippie and Russ together. What do you guys think?
I say wait on it. Wait on it. Yeah, it's cool. I mean, it's cool. That's my assessment of the record. Like, to see both of them together, I thought it was kind of crazy because Russ doesn't seem to really like many artists that's in Trippie Redd's lane. Well, let me not say that, because there's only a few artists that I felt like was in Trippie Redd's lane that Russ didn't mess with publicly. So I don't want to be wrong there, but I didn't think that Russ and Trippie would work together. But I think Russ does have a respect for like Trippie musically now. I think since Trippie got away from being on Instagram a lot and being on some gangster shit, he's kind of changed his whole way as an artist. You know, it's like his sales is going up, his perception has been more respected as far as him making music, so I could see why Russ would work with him, or vice versa.
Yeah, I don't think Russ never like first of all, I think Russ always wanted to collaborate. I think Russ was just always like that black sheep, the outcast. And I think now, like when people see the numbers, I remember Meek Mill even saying it. He says, yo, this motherfucker is selling out all type of shit, doing all these numbers. I gotta get in the studio with him. That is what the music industry is, right? So it's like, yeah, at one point people thought, oh, Russ is an L, this and third. Motherfucker's doing numbers, he's selling out mad shit. It just makes sense for you to at least try to cook up something with him. Right. As far as this record, I know it's on Trippie's deluxe of A Love Letter to You 4, but I'm gonna be honest with you, I think Russ fits more on this track. Like like again, this is not the typical Trippie you usually see. So it's not like take a call my guap. Like it's not like that high auto tune, almost like sometimes almost Travis Scottish or kind of sound like a Billy Goat. Like it's not that. He's actually more singing on this shit. And when you listen to songs, like if you listen to Shake the Snow Globe by Russ, and you listen to even like, which is a commercial single, Best on Earth, this is within the range of Rushmore. So, not bad song. I'll do wait on it, but I think this is more Russ's vibe.
Okay. So you see him collaborating with a lot more people in the future?
I think people think Russ don't fuck with everybody. Like, Russ wanna fuck with people. It's just that Russ just on his own shit, and he hopes everybody like comes around and be like, oh, you're not that bad. Yeah.
Well, two of the most surprising collaborations I've seen him do so far is this one and the one with Benny the Butcher. You know what I mean? It's like he's kind of throwing me off with them, but they're not bad. You know, they're not bad at all.
All right, let's see. Maybe we'll get more soon. He's always working. We got another song. This one is Calboy, Lil Baby, and Lil Tjay, Givenchy Kickin. So this is on Calboy's new EP, Long Live the Kings, that dropped last Friday.
I know people are watching, so I'm gonna just tell y'all, all these joints are mid. So this is mid too. I'm trying, like, I don't see none of these joints like that's just jumping off paper to me. I mean, the lineups look cool, like Calboy, Baby, Lil Tjay, and of course, I'm a huge Baby fan, I'm a huge Lil Tjay fan. Calboy, like I'm in a wait and see moment with him. I think this record is cool. It could go, but I don't know if this is it, honestly. So I'll say wait and see.
Yeah, I say wait and see as well. Just feels a bit constructed. I mean, it feels a bit constructed. It doesn't, I don't know, I don't feel synergy with this record. It just sounds like emailed, you know?
Emailed.
Yeah.
Okay, how about this one? So G Herbo featuring Jaquees, Shooter, produced by D.A. Doman. Drop this one on SoundCloud.
I'm gonna say wait on it too, man. Shit mid today, bro. Yo, fuck with G Herbo. I ain't gonna lie, a lot of G Herbo songs I fuck with is like him kind of like, it's not him and an R&B dude, you know? Like, it's just kind of him. And I think this is an attempt to, you know, get some fans and some audience that they haven't tapped into before. And, you know, I'm cool off of that. But I do think it could work. When I expect G Herbo, like, I'm the dude that came from, you know, the Ball Like I'm Kobe days, you know, rest in peace to Kobe. Like, I expect just that gritty G Herbo, fucking R&B singer, but I understand in trying to get a lead single type of shit.
Yeah. I think that this one works. Of course, we gotta wait to see what it's gonna be, but I really like the sound of this one, for sure.
All right, we got one more. Royce 5'9", featuring Vince Staples and G Perico, Young World. Actually produced by Royce.
Oh shit.
It's on the Allegory.
This nigga fumbling over here.
I say wait on it. Yeah, this joint was cool. The beat changes a few times, but it's a really long song. I mean, it's an album cut. It's number 20 on the album. Like it's like, I'm not looking for it to be a big single or nothing, but I like to see G Perico and Vince Staples, on things, especially G Perico. I don't think he gets enough credit for being a dope up-and-coming young West Coast artist.
Definitely gonna say wait on it. I really.
What?
When I see this, like I have to like detach myself to really realize that what a hit is for these three people ain't what you could see with another hit from like say like a Blueface and Lil Baby or something like that. It's different, like because their audiences are different.
Right.
And I've gotten to the point of like hit brick or wait on it is as in calling something a hit if it just works within the fan bases of the people who are on it. And this one I genuinely don't know. So I'll say wait on it. I thought it was a decent lineup, but I heard it, I'm like, okay.
All right, so we're not feeling super passionate about many new songs right now, it seems. Thank you, Wayno.
That Young Boy album, though, we talk about it tomorrow.
Good. Okay, all right, tomorrow's gonna coming. So a couple quick stories. So according to Variety, Paul Rosenberg, who some of you know as Eminem's longtime manager, has stepped down as CEO of Def Jam Records after a little bit over 2 years. He's apparently still gonna consult for the company. What do you guys think is just the state of Def Jam and Paul Rosenberg's impact over the last couple years? It was a big thing when he took over.
Def Jam seems trash to me. Like, of course, I think people, we live on legacy and history when it comes to a lot of things in hip hop. And you remember old Russell Simmons. You remember a lot of great things about Def Jam. I don't think a young kid now would look at Def Jam and have any positive feelings. They just haven't seen much wins over there. When they did hire Paul Rosenberg, I mean, I was trying to make sense of how it would play out because, of course, most famously, he's known to be M's manager. But also, you never know. I felt like he was trying to, again, as we referred to an album earlier, but shake the snow globe a little bit. Let's see what could come out of this. And I don't think really much came out of it. So I do think they're in a place of just trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. And I do think this is a time somebody got to save Def Jam. Whoever the next person is, they're banking on saving Def Jam.
I just think that when it comes to Def Jam, they just need a little bit more youth over there. Not specifically the artists, but the executives. I think that like when you look at Def Jam or you look at any of these novelty labels, any of these labels, they was built by young men and women who weren't scared to take shots and weren't scared to work with new artists no matter where the fuck they was from or how they sounded. Like, think about an artist like DMX coming out today. Fucking barking, growling, sounding like he's 8 feet tall when he's really 5'6" or 5'8". You know what I'm saying? Those are the type of shots that Def Jam once took. I just feel like,
DMX is 5'8"?
Yeah, he's like 5'8".
You're lying.
No, he's like 5'8".
What? I thought he was like 6'4".
But his voice.
Never met him.
I mean, his voice.
Oh man,
big.
I've been duped.
But I just feel like when it comes to this, I just felt like the whole Paul Rosenberg thing was overshot. No disrespect to him, but he's mostly known for managing Eminem and all the great things he did there. I didn't know. I don't think a young kid looks at who the CEO is and says, all right, I want to be over there. They more looking at like who's the personnel, who's the last person these people signed. And I felt like that company wasn't employed with the young talent. Like, talent is not just artists. Talent is also execs, and you got to find that talent to be able to bring kids over. So, I just think that Def Jam, they'll figure it out. They got enough money to figure this shit out, but they just start investing in younger executives.
I think it got to go two ways. Like, you either really bring back like an OG or something like that, and maybe they could like bring life in, because there is history on it. I do think Def Jam is kind of like the Yankees a bit. Like, yo, it gotta work.
Right.
You feel me? We gonna throw as much money behind this shit. It's gonna work even if it ain't working. So, I don't know, man. Like shit. either tap like really an OG who kind of came up in that infrastructure and probably helped build it, or like had artists or whatever on it, Irv Gotti, some shit like that, or you fucking really go young, as Wayno was saying.
Yeah.
And honestly, like the young people who I see moving shit, like, you know, of course we got a couple young, like, you know, A&Rs who doing their thing, or shit, grab one of these dudes who's running like the Spotify's or the Apples or whoever, like whether it's Tunji or you get Carl or somebody, like you got to get somebody like that who's a little bit more closer in tune with the current day, because of course, you know, you got to think about Def Jam future. You can't think about, okay, all right, cool, we just get somebody there on some namesake, but that person has no connection to what the fuck else is going on.
Yeah, you gotta be tapped in.
That's what I kind of feel.
Yeah,
you know, there was a clip or like little meme of people they thought that could take it over, and honestly, like I was just looking for youth. Truth be told.
Right.
Okay. That's a really
what
good
it takes.
assessment. You've even dropped some really good names. Hopefully they make the right moves. Like you guys said, it's a legacy brand. So they'll figure it out at some point. And very quickly before we go, I think we all knew that Drake was going to be working on a new album that hopefully we're going to get this year. So during an interview at the Raptors game, he confirmed that he's finishing up the project. He says it's going to be less songs than Scorpion, but coming soon. Ak, you excited?
Of course. I'm glad he started speaking about it, because he told me about some of the stuff earlier, which he didn't mind I shared. Like, he said he was really trying to pivot or like position this album in terms of how he did like Nothing Was the Same, and that's like one of his favorite albums. He actually prefers that album. He thinks that album is definitely a classic, and even, you know, it's right there with like Take Care. So there was a time he said, and I don't know if this is true, he told me, he said, which I didn't want to announce because I want to like have people go crazy with it. He said he was going for minimal, if no features, and definitely not as much tracks as Scorpion, around that 15 to 16, which he also repeated there. And, you know, he was just trying to create that type of vibe and just kind of still use inspiration from his life. You know, I remember asking him, like, yo, you still got stories that you haven't told? Like, it's been like 10 years of you dropping well-publicized album. And he's like, I still do. So, of course, I'm excited, but you know me.
When you said minimal and no features, you know what I thought of? I would love to hear Drake and Nas. I would really like to hear Drake and Nas. You know, like, yeah, like I would, like if we're gonna get somebody that's gonna fucking get Drake to really rap, not that he doesn't, but like I would love to hear them two together.
I do think coming off Scorpion, he is probably feeling like Scorpion was the double album to please everybody. So you like me doing this, here's 3 tracks. You like me doing this, here's 3. And he realized, like, yo, to be honest, you're probably gonna get criticized more for doing that than not doing it. So I think now he's like, yo, and I think it's a good place to be, where you're not thinking about what people expect, and you're thinking about more of what type of artist you are and what you actually inspires you. So hopefully, you know, he could probably drop another classic.
Another classic. All right,
Let's see.
Coming soon, right? So that's 2 of the heavyweights confirmed, almost confirmed dropping this year, right? We just need 1 more. Let's see. Guys, thank you for watching Everyday Struggle. We're going to be back here tomorrow, same time on Complex. Hope you have a good day.
Axe waiting for no Kanye album. You see them sneaks, right?